In life, we often search for signs of guidance, reassurance, and protection from the unseen world. We face moments of hardship, uncertainty, and trial, and in those moments, the desire for divine protection becomes even stronger. As Muslims, we are taught that Allah, SWT, is always near, always aware, and always willing to protect His servants. But how do we recognize His protective hand in our lives? Sometimes the signs are subtle, hidden in the everyday moments that we may take for granted. These signs are not always grand miracles or flashes of light, but rather simple, profound reminders that we are not alone, and Allah's protection is always with us. The truth is, protection from Allah comes in many forms. Sometimes it's the prevention of harm before it even reaches us. Other times it's His guidance and wisdom that leads us to safety. Recognizing these signs helps strengthen our faith and trust in Allah. In this article, we will explore 7 hidden Islamic signs that you are under Allah's divine protection. These signs are not always obvious at first glance, but when we look deeply into our lives, we may find them guiding us through the storms, protecting us from unseen dangers, and comforting us in our times of distress. Protection from Allah is not just about being shielded from physical harm. It also extends to the protection of our hearts, our minds, and our souls. It is a holistic form of protection, a divine mercy that encompasses every part of our existence. The signs we're about to explore serve as a reminder that no matter how alone we may feel at times, Allah's mercy surrounds us, and His protection is closer than we can imagine. As you read through the following 7 signs, allow your heart to reflect upon your own life. Notice the moments where you felt guided, where you were spared from harm, or where you found unexpected blessings. These signs are often found in the simplest of events and experiences, yet they carry profound meanings. Through them, we can find not just peace, but a deeper understanding of Allah's presence in our lives. May this article serve as a reminder for all of us to be more aware of the hidden signs of Allah's protection and to be grateful for the countless blessings we often overlook. Let us open our hearts and minds to the beauty of His mercy and let His signs strengthen our faith and trust in Him. 1. You are guided through difficult decisions. When we face tough decisions, especially those that carry significant consequences, the pressure to choose wisely can feel overwhelming. But one of the most beautiful signs that Allah is protecting you is when you experience an inner peace and clarity that guides you toward the right decision, even when it seems impossible to make. Sometimes this guidance comes in the form of a sudden, clear thought, or a quiet whisper in your heart telling you the right course of action. You might not even realize that it was Allah's mercy guiding you at the time, but in retrospect you'll recognize that the right decision was made despite the circumstances. This guidance can also manifest through the people Allah places in your life. You might receive a piece of advice from a trusted friend, a family member, or even someone you barely know, and it could be the exact guidance you needed. There have been countless times when, during a moment of confusion, you felt a sense of direction through the words or actions of someone who helped clarify your path. It is Allah who sends these people into your life, and it is His protection that ensures you are never truly lost. Sometimes the signs Allah gives us to guide our decisions are subtle, and we may mistake them for mere coincidences. But when you reflect on your life, you will begin to see how these small instances have always led you toward what was best for you. For example, you may have been hesitant about a job offer or a major life change, only to discover later that rejecting it was the right decision. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, knows what lies ahead and guides us to make decisions that will protect us from harm or regret. In moments of indecision, we should turn to prayer, salah, and seek guidance from Allah through the dua, supplication. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, taught us to seek Allah's guidance in all aspects of life through the istikhara prayer, which is a special prayer asking Allah to help us choose the right path. This act of seeking divine assistance not only helps us find clarity, but also shows that we trust Allah's wisdom over our own limited understanding. Allah responds to our sincere supplications, and His guidance will always lead us to what is best for us, even if we can't see it in the moment. Another form of guidance comes when Allah closes doors that were not meant for us. We often find ourselves disappointed or frustrated when things don't go according to our plans, but in reality it may be Allah's mercy protecting us from something harmful. Just as He opened the Red Sea for Prophet Musa, a.s., He closes doors for us when they are not meant to lead us toward good. This divine protection is often not obvious at first, but with time, we begin to see how the closed door was actually an act of kindness, shielding us from potential harm or regret. Finally, the key to recognizing Allah's guidance in difficult decisions is trust. When you surrender to His will and place your full trust in His divine plan, you will find that decisions become clearer, paths open up, and the burden of uncertainty lifts. Even when the road ahead seems unclear, you will have the confidence that Allah is guiding you and that He will never lead you astray. His protection is in the guidance He provides, and this is a sign that He is always looking out for your best interests. 2. Unexpected protection from harm. One of the most profound signs of Allah's protection is when you find yourself shielded from harm in situations where you had no control. These are the moments when you narrowly avoid danger, whether it's a car accident, a health scare, or a near miss in any situation that could have led to harm. At the time, you might not recognize it as a sign of Allah's protection, but as you reflect, you realize that what happened was nothing short of a divine intervention. Consider an instance when you were on your way somewhere, and you either missed the train or took a different route, only to later hear that there had been an accident or some form of danger at the place you would have been. Or perhaps you've experienced a health issue that could have been much worse but turned out to be something mild. These moments are subtle but undeniable reminders that Allah is constantly watching over you, and He protects you from harm you may not even be aware of. Protection from harm is not always about preventing physical dangers. It extends to emotional and spiritual safety as well. Sometimes Allah shields us from toxic environments, negative influences, or harmful relationships that could have led to emotional scars or spiritual setbacks. You might find yourself distanced from people or situations that could have drained your energy, leaving you more peaceful and grounded. This distancing is often a hidden sign that Allah is protecting your heart from the harms of the world around you. The idea of unseen protection is not new in Islam. Throughout the Quran and Hadith, we are reminded of Allah's care and mercy in guarding His believers from the unseen dangers that we cannot even perceive. In Surah Al-Isra, Allah promises, "Indeed, your ally is none but Allah and His Messenger, and those who have believed, those who establish prayer and give zakah, and they bow in worship." Quran 5:55. This verse reassures us that Allah is not just protecting us physically, but also spiritually, ensuring that we are kept safe from all forms of harm, whether seen or unseen. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, also taught us the power of seeking Allah's protection, particularly through regular supplications. Among the most powerful du'as are those seeking refuge from evil, such as asking Allah to protect us from the harm of external forces, envy, or any calamities. These supplications act as a shield, and when we make them sincerely, we are assured of Allah's protection. The protection Allah grants may come in various forms, but always with the intention of keeping us safe from harm. The next time you find yourself in a situation where you were spared from potential harm, take a moment to thank Allah and reflect on the hidden blessings He bestows upon us. Whether you are aware of it or not, these moments of protection are constant reminders of Allah's mercy, His watchful eye, and His deep care for His believers. Doors open in the most unexpected ways. Another remarkable sign of Allah's protection is when doors open in your life in ways you never expected. It could be a job opportunity that arises just when you needed it, a new connection that turns out to be the key to your success, or a sudden breakthrough after a long period of struggle. Allah's mercy is evident in the way He opens doors at exactly the right time, even when it seems impossible or when you have given up hope. Think back to a moment when you were facing a tough situation, whether it was a financial struggle, a health issue, or a personal challenge, and suddenly, out of nowhere, a solution presented itself. You may have prayed to Allah for relief, and the answer came through a person, an opportunity, or a situation that you hadn't even considered. This is a sign that Allah is not only aware of your needs, but is actively working to protect you and guide you toward a better path. The way opportunities come to you when you need them most is a sign of Allah's protection. Sometimes we get so caught up in our efforts and plans that we forget to acknowledge that it is Allah who makes things happen. Just as He opened the sea for Prophet Musa, ACS, He continues to open doors for us at the moments when we least expect it. These moments are divine interventions, showing us that Allah is working behind the scenes to provide us with what we need. The beauty of this divine intervention lies in its timing. Many times, it is not until after the event or opportunity has passed that we realize just how perfectly timed it was. We may have struggled for months or years only to find that the moment we gave up and placed our trust fully in Allah, He opened a door that was better than anything we could have planned ourselves. This is Allah's protection at work, protecting us from frustration and leading us toward what is best. In life, when doors seem to be closed, we must remind ourselves that Allah is the best of planners. He knows the outcome before we do, and sometimes a door must be closed to prevent us from stepping into something that might harm us in the long run. The doors that open, however, are those He has destined for us, and they often lead to blessings we could never have anticipated. Recognizing these moments as signs of divine protection helps us grow in our faith. It encourages us to trust Allah more deeply, knowing that He is always working on our behalf. The next time a door opens for you unexpectedly, thank Allah for His mercy and protection and trust that it is a sign that He is guiding you toward something better. 4. Experiencing calmness and peace during trials. There are times in life when trials and difficulties feel overwhelming. Yet, one of the most profound signs of Allah's protection is the deep sense of calm and peace you feel in the midst of these challenges. While others might be anxious, stressed, or frightened, you feel a quiet sense of assurance that everything will be okay. This peace is a gift from Allah, a sign that He is protecting you spiritually and emotionally. The beauty of this peace lies in its presence even in the face of adversity. You might find yourself facing a challenging situation, perhaps an illness, the loss of a loved one, or financial distress. But instead of feeling overwhelmed by fear, you feel a sense of inner calm. This calmness is not something that comes from your own strength, but from the reassurance that Allah is in control, and He will protect you through the difficulty. This tranquility is a reminder that Allah is always near. The Quran mentions, "Indeed, with hardship comes ease." Quran 94:6, a verse that assures us that even in the hardest times, there is always ease and comfort to be found. When we experience this sense of peace, we are reminded that Allah is not only protecting us from external hardships, but also guarding our hearts and minds from the internal struggles of fear, doubt, and anxiety. Think of the Prophet Ibrahim when he was thrown into the fire by his own people for his unwavering faith in Allah. Despite the apparent danger and the flames, the Prophet was calm, knowing that his trust in Allah would protect him. Allah commanded the fire to be cool and peaceful for him, and it did not harm him. This story serves as a powerful reminder that, no matter the intensity of the trial, Allah's protection brings peace that transcends all earthly fears. In our own lives, when we experience this peace, we should be mindful of its source. It is a sign that Allah is with us, comforting us and protecting us from despair. During times of trial, instead of focusing on the difficulty, we should take a moment to reflect on the peace Allah has granted us and thank Him for His protection. 5. You are shielded from negative influences. One of the most overlooked signs of Allah's protection is when He shields you from negative influences, harmful people, and toxic environments. You may not even realize it in the moment, but Allah's mercy is at work when you find yourself distanced from people or situations that could lead you astray or cause emotional and spiritual harm. This hidden protection is one of the ways Allah keeps His believers safe from the dangers of the world. Have you ever found yourself walking away from a group of people who were gossiping, backbiting, or engaging in harmful behavior? You might have felt uncomfortable, yet something inside you pushed you to leave or not engage with them. This subtle protection is Allah's way of preserving your peace and spiritual well-being. In such moments, you may not realize it, but Allah is protecting your heart from the negative effects of sin and immorality. There are also times when Allah keeps you away from situations or opportunities that could have harmed you in the long run. Perhaps you were offered a partnership or a friendship that seemed perfect at first, but something didn't feel quite right. Later on, you may discover that this person or opportunity was not as beneficial as it seemed, and you were spared from unnecessary hardship. This divine shielding extends to protecting you from your own impulses as well. Allah knows our weaknesses and is merciful enough to guide us away from actions that could harm us or others. It is through His mercy that we find ourselves saved from sins or mistakes that might have caused us regret or spiritual distance from Him. Recognizing this hidden protection helps us grow in gratitude and trust. Allah's care for us is seen in these moments when we are kept safe from harmful influences, even though we may not fully understand the reason behind it at the time. When we are protected in this way, we should thank Allah for His unseen mercy and ask for His continued guidance in keeping us away from harm. 6. Divine tests that strengthen your faith. Sometimes, the greatest sign of Allah's protection is not in the avoidance of hardship, but in the strength He gives us to endure it. Life is full of tests and trials, but when Allah is protecting us, He equips us with the resilience to face those challenges with faith and patience. These tests become opportunities for spiritual growth and a way for us to strengthen our connection to Allah. When faced with a test, you might feel the weight of the trial, but at the same time there is a sense of divine support that carries you through. It could be the patience you find in your heart, the strength to continue when others might give up, or the trust in Allah's wisdom and mercy that prevents you from losing hope. These tests are Allah's way of refining you, purifying your heart, and strengthening your relationship with Him. The story of Prophet Ayub, AES, is a perfect example of how Allah's protection can manifest through a test of patience. Despite losing his health, wealth, and family, Prophet Ayub, AES, never wavered in his faith. Allah protected his heart by granting him unwavering patience, which ultimately led to his recovery and a reward far greater than his initial blessings. These tests are also a reminder that Allah is always with us, even in our struggles. The trials we face are not meant to harm us, but to purify us and bring us closer to Him. Through the difficulty, we find ourselves relying on Allah, and this deepens our connection with the Creator. When we reflect on the tests in our lives, we begin to see them not as punishments, but as signs of Allah's love and protection. He knows that through these trials we will emerge stronger, more resilient, and more connected to Him. These tests, while difficult, are part of Allah's protection, for they lead us to a higher state of faith and closeness to Him. 7. A constant sense of gratitude and contentment. One of the most beautiful signs that Allah is protecting you is the overwhelming sense of gratitude and contentment that fills your heart, even in the midst of life's trials. It is not simply about being satisfied with what you have, but rather feeling at peace with your circumstances, knowing that whatever you have is a gift from Allah, and He has ordained it for you. This deep sense of thankfulness is a sign that Allah's protection is at work in your life, for it reflects a heart that is spiritually aligned and trusting in His plan. When you experience contentment, even during challenging times, it is an indication that Allah is protecting you from bitterness, envy, and dissatisfaction. Many people find themselves consumed with desires for more wealth, more recognition, more comfort, yet a believer, protected by Allah's mercy, finds peace in what they have. They understand that their worth and happiness are not determined by material possessions or status, but by their relationship with Allah. The heart that is content with Allah's decree is shielded from the turmoil that often accompanies worldly desires. Consider the moment when you find yourself facing a hardship. Maybe you've lost a job, experienced a health setback, or gone through personal loss. And yet, instead of feeling angry or resentful, you feel a deep sense of gratitude. You might not immediately understand why you are facing this test, but you trust that it is part of Allah's greater plan for your growth. This contentment is not the absence of difficulty, but rather a sign of inner peace amidst hardship. It reflects the protection Allah grants to those who trust in Him, knowing that He will never burden them beyond their ability to bear. Gratitude is also a key component of spiritual protection. When we are grateful for the small blessings in our lives, our health, our family, the food we eat, the peace we feel, it shields our hearts from the darkness of ingratitude and despair. In the Quran, Allah reminds us, "If you are grateful, I will surely increase your favor upon you." Quran 14:7. This promise shows that gratitude not only brings us closer to Allah, but it also protects us from negative feelings that can cloud our hearts, such as jealousy, frustration, and doubt. When we are grateful, we are not just protecting our own peace of mind, but we are also safeguarding our faith. Additionally, the contentment that comes from Allah's protection allows you to appreciate even the simplest moments in life. You may find joy in a beautiful sunrise, the laughter of a loved one, or the quiet moments of solitude. This deep, soul-level satisfaction is a form of divine protection because it prevents us from constantly seeking fulfillment in things that may not bring true happiness. Rather than running after fleeting desires, Allah protects your heart by guiding you to find contentment in His presence and His blessings. The sense of gratitude and contentment is also a reminder of the importance of reflection. When we take time to reflect on all that Allah has given us, we open our hearts to see the countless ways He has been protecting us. From the small daily blessings to the large life-changing moments, Allah's protection is woven into the fabric of our lives. It is through this reflection that we realize how much we have and how much we owe to the One who has granted us everything. Recognizing the signs of Allah's protection in our lives is a powerful way to strengthen our faith and deepen our gratitude. Whether through guidance in difficult decisions, unexpected protection from harm, or the peace we feel during trials, Allah's mercy surrounds us constantly. When we reflect on these moments, we realize that Allah is always with us, guiding, protecting, and providing for us in ways that we may never fully understand. These signs are not always grand miracles or dramatic moments of intervention. Often they are subtle, hidden in the quiet moments of life. But when we learn to recognize them, we find that Allah's protection is always near, even in our times of difficulty. It is through these signs that our trust in Allah grows and our understanding of His mercy deepens. Let us be mindful of these blessings and let them strengthen our relationship with Allah. May we always recognize His protection, appreciate His mercy, and remain steadfast in our faith.